Ursula's Return saw the very first Illumineer's Quest, The Trouble, released in your friendly local game store on May 17th and everywhere in mass retail on May 31st. It MSRP for $60, and I wanted to finally sit down and give my thoughts on this product. It's been enough time. And so I have a quarter century of experience playing TCGs, and I thought, well, I don't want to give just my opinion. I want to get someone who's brand new to TCGs into this. And so my wife will be joining me later in the video. I'm Lorcana Thanos, and today you're going to get a TCG vet and a TCG noob discuss Illumineer's Quest Deep Trouble. Alright, so as I said, my wife is going to be joining me later in the video, and she's a bit camera shy, so it's going to be audio only, but, we'll put some fun visuals and stuff, and we're going to deep dive into the product. Let's get started. Alright, everyone, so I am here with my wife, Meredith. So first off, what do you think of Lorcana itself?
I think it's been really fun so far. I enjoy the competitive aspect of it, but also I'm able to create fun princess decks or sidekicks decks. So I really liked it so far.
All right, so now we are going to dive into the Illumineer's Quest Deep Trouble. So the first question is, as someone new to playing TCGs, what do you think of the Illumineer's Quest?
I like the different levels of difficulty and the multiplayer game aspect to defeat her. She was really hard to beat on normal with the standard decks they gave us, but with our competitive decks, we were able to defeat her.
So overall, did you enjoy playing it?
Yes, it was really fun and engaging. It allowed us to spend a full day of quality time together trying to beat her with our various decks.
All right, so I want to talk about the pros and cons of the product. So for me, I enjoyed the co-op element in that it encourages teamwork and strategy to defeat Ursula. I like that it came with two cold foil legendaries that had a unique border. And I felt like you felt the increase in difficulty in gameplay as you went from easy to normal, hard, and extreme. It has a replay factor, and I feel like it's a good starting point for players who are newer to TCGs and Lorcana. My cons, though, I feel like the pre-constructed decks felt a bit random with the card choices, and the decks felt okay on easy, and they were almost slightly power crept on normal, and they were especially power crept on hard and extreme once we got there, because when we got to beating her, I had to use my actual broom deck while you played one of the pre-constructed decks in order to beat Ursula. So my question is, as a newer player, what were your pros and cons for the product?
Yeah, so overall, my pro was that it's a fun game that we can introduce to our family and friends who might not be a competitive player or even understand what Lorcana is and our fascination with it. But it's also easy to learn. And even though it's been a few weeks since we've actually played and defeated Ursula, I still want to play again and keep testing the different decks and strategies against her so we can beat her on extreme. As far as the cons, I do agree that the decks that they gave us were a little vanilla. I didn't really enjoy playing either one of them. And also, I wish that there were more either exclusive cards or more foiled cards. And maybe even cards introduced as part of set 4 to encourage people to buy more product.
So you mentioned that you didn't like playing either deck, and you mostly played the Amber Ruby deck that came with it. What did you think of the pre-constructed decks?
So, as a Amber lover, I did not enjoy the piglet aspect of it. Um, I normally don't play a lot with Ruby. However, the Mulan aspect did kind of pique my interest in playing a little bit more Ruby long term. Like I said, Mulan worked for me, but Piglet didn't. And I agree that they seemed a bit random. I didn't really like the cards. They definitely were not strong enough to get the job done on normal, but they were okay on easy. Especially when she wiped our boards, it was really hard to recover using the pre-constructed decks.
Yeah, for sure. So we beat Ursula on easy and normal. Did you find those difficulties too difficult, or was it an appropriate difficulty level?
I think it was appropriate for what it was. Easy was easy. Normal did have some level of difficulty, which made it engaging. However, like I said, we got wrecked a few times that we were playing with the pre-constructed decks. But once we switched over to our main competitive decks, we were able to defeat her. I tried the hard once, but she was really too strong for us to defeat with just the two players. However, I feel like if you had more than three or four, you could probably defeat her pretty easily.
Yeah, that'd be something I'd be curious to try in the future. Maybe if we have some people over, we could try a four-player game with her and see how that goes. So, what are your thoughts on how Ursula herself played? Because overall, I thought it was a pretty unique system compared to how a normal game of Lorcana plays.
So overall, I thought she was kind of broken, even on normal. She ramps up her inkwell very quickly, early game, and once she got established, she really makes the game a lot more difficult. And going deeper into the game, she was able to play some really expensive cards that normally wouldn't happen so early in a game or even mid game. But yeah, she was difficult for sure.
Yeah, she definitely was. We haven't done extreme yet together. I've tried extreme with some of my competitive stuff, full power brooms and full power steel song, and she has wrecked me one on one, both of those. So we haven't even tried extreme, but we have tried hard, and that didn't go so well. So we've touched on the replay factor of this product, and since Ursula's deck doesn't ever change, does that make playing her over and over again stale, or do you think that that's fine?
No, I think the increasing level of difficulty does help it stay relevant, especially like I said. I mean, most normal players will defeat her on normal and want to kind of go after the hard and the extreme just for a more challenging aspect of the game. But as a competitor, I definitely want to beat her on the highest level, but I need to continue to tweak my deck to be able to defeat her. And also, one that helps me figure out personally what synergizes well to be a competitive deck. And two, it gives me practice for when I do go to events and I want to go up against a hard opponent. It kind of gets me in that mindset of how to defeat her based on the deck that I have already built.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That could be a good testing point outside of us playing together or going to locals or something like that. Do you see this product being a good entry point for anyone interested in learning Lorcana, or are the starters a better onboarding point?
I think the Illumineer's quest is a better entry point because it gives you a better understanding of what competitive play will look like. Just really in terms of having to think more competitively while building, because you have to have a viable deck going to locals and also to these DLCs. So I think it's more fun over a period of time too, just because you can introduce it to your family and friends who might not have ever played a TCG before. They might have questions on what Lorcana is because we all are crazy about it and we talk about it all the time. So I think that the Illumineer's quest can kind of be more inclusive long term.
Now, I want to talk about something I've been holding off on, and that is, I think enough time has passed. I want to talk about the prize card. And so, if you're newer, I guess spoiler alert, there's a exclusive quote unquote prize card that comes in there. So it's a card from set five that's a rare. It's in amethyst. It is called the Half Hexwell Crown. It's a non-inkable six cost item. Has two abilities: an unexpected find, you exert it, you pay two ink to draw a card, and then a perilous power, exert, pay two ink, you discard a card, and then you exert chosen character. So for me personally, I don't, unless they have a card in set five, which is the other half of the crown that makes it where you can play this or reduces the cost. I don't ever see playing this card. And both abilities cost way too much for what they do on principle, anyways. Given the different levels, especially extreme, do you think the prize card could be improved going forward?
Absolutely. I do like the foiling. It's different than anything else that's currently in the game. However, I would like it to be more valuable. So, such as a legendary, something other than a rare, as you said. So, I would personally never play the card just because it is too high of a cost, and the effects aren't that great long term. But yes, definitely think there's room for improvement next time.
So something we talked about before off air about this product is maybe for each difficulty, if a possible improvement could be a different card at a different rarity level as you increase to maybe make it worth more long term. So say on easy, it could be like a good playable like common, uncommon, normal, rare, the hard, super, and then extreme like a legendary. Basically, like what do you think of that concept?
I think it's a good concept. As you and I both know, though, people are just gonna open the cards without beating her. So I'm not really sure if Ravensburger will, want to go that route. But I do think that there needs to be a better card or better effect. Just so people can use it long term.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, people will open the product and move along just to get the cards, but it's just a maybe a suggestion for Ryan and the team going forward. So the last question I have is: as you look at the story of Lorcana, it seems that Hades is going to be in the next Illumineer's quest, which I'm very excited about. He seems to be the villain of this block, but what villain or villains would you like to see in future Illumineers quests?
So Hades is definitely one of my favorite villains. So I'm really excited as well about that. Hercules and Pegasus are one of my dynamic duos, and I have lots of items of theirs in my room currently. However, some other villains that I do like and collect is Jafar, Scar. I love Lion King since the 90s. And also, I think that Mother Gothel would be very interesting just because we do have a lot of Tangled cards currently in the previous sets. So being able to kind of build on that, I feel like be an interesting character going forward.
Yeah, for sure. She's not someone that you hear. I definitely think Scar and Jafar are definitely on the list that's going to be coming. And for me, I'm a big fan of Peter Pan, so I love the Captain Hook. Love definitely want Hook to show up. The Dragon Mal is of course one that I think it'd be cool if they did Mal to have her, and then as she's about to lose at some point, she could shift into the dragon. I think that'd be a cool concept. And then Jungle Book is a film that I personally have a lot of connection to. And so I think Shere Khan would be pretty interesting for my kind of deep cut villain. But that's all the questions. I think if we're talking about the product, I think overall we enjoy it, but there's definitely things that we would change about it going forward. So I want to thank you for coming on. And do you have anything else to add before you go?
Nope, that was it. Thanks for having me.
All right, so there you have it. Those are our thoughts on the Illuminous Quest Deep Trouble. Let me know down below what you thought of the product and if you shared any concerns or feedback that either my wife or I have on the product. As always, be sure to give me one of these. They're super helpful for growing the channel. Lets the YouTube algorithm do what the YouTube algorithm does best. As always, be sure to smash the subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified when I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. As always, you can follow me on the artist formerly known as Twitter on X at Lorcana Thanos. And remember, the hardest choices require the strongest wills. Bye.